song is sick, by the way.
I love that song.
I keep need to remind myself to find out what that is, what the name of that song is. In the upper left, we have the tragic hero of StarCraft 2. He is
LGIM YongHwa.
And in the bottom right, our deadly endgame Zerg. He is
SK Telecom T1 Su.
He's throwing a curveball here. He goes for a 9 pool. So that's going to throw you off guard if you keep playing the same builds like YongHwa's been doing every time Gateway in the main. And
well, YongHwa's not been scouting, for one.
And this time he's going to, as it turns out. You know, it's just so ironic, actually, here.
Yeah, he's actually saying that probe out right away. So YongHwa switching gears, or Su as well, but YongHwa should be in a better position now.
Yeah, the Gateway here will allow him to hold this. It's about good probe micro. You know, a diamond level player on the ladder might actually take a ton of losses to the early pool, even though he scouts it. But someone like YongHwa is going to have really good micro against those Zerglings. And he doesn't go into the main right away. That delays his scout just slightly.
Okay, and now he's going to come down here, and just by looking at the fact the pool's done, he's going to say, "Oh,
yep,
okay, unexpected."
And you know, he sees the probe, and he only makes 4 lings. He doesn't make the last set. So that means that YongHwa might panic and even possibly Chrono Boost his Zealot, but it's not going to be worth it because it's only 4 lings, and the drone comes out here.
Nicely done there by Su to identify that this is not going to work. We see a lot of... it's kind of like when YongHwa didn't attack on game number 1. So, okay, well, if this is not going to work, you might be in a bad position where you have to go to something else that might have a better chance.
Yeah. As you can see here, he's going to go for a hatch first. And it's a little bit delayed because of the pool, and also now he has to make an Overlord again, so it delays his production a little bit more. So the build that he would like to do to get an expansion up is a little bit affected negatively by this. But the Lings in the main base here might harass YongHwa just a little bit. You might be able to pick off a probe. I'm going to be watching that pretty closely. The Zealot's out, though.
Cybernetic score's done. And I don't even know if the Zerg's going to get any probe kills off here. It's pretty easy to zone out.
Yeah, especially with the Militia Core coming here. I don't think so.
Yeah.
He doesn't even force any lost mining time. YongHwa's just ignoring the Lings. Like, he's just following them with the Zealot. 1 Zealot can kill 3 Lings, so.
Probe now coming out here. Looks like he's going to try to get this Nexus up.
Yeah, and this is one of the first annoyances the Lings are really going to get. That's why he sent a second probe down, but beautifully done.
Nicely done there.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Su will be forced to leave. The third hatch will be coming down here shortly.
Now, you talked about how easy it is for a Zerg to take a third base on this map, but it goes both ways for the Protoss. He can easily take that third base, and sometimes we see super greedy third bases with Stargate play. Sometimes we see late game even with Tempest. That style kind of fell off for a while, but there was a time where people were making Tempest and high tempo on this map.
There's a period where I thought that the tasteless Tempest build was like the greatest build.
It was for a while.
It was, man, because nobody knew what to do, and then I'm like, oh, I just take the whole map, and I look like an idiot.
And just make Swarm Hosts.
And just make a ton of Corruptors.
Yeah. Tempest can't shoot him down fast enough. There's a Stargate, speaking of which.
All right. Stargate not at the entrance, by the way, so it's tucked away. Actually, no, excuse me. There's an Overlord. No, there's not. I'm actually a crazy person. I'm actually hallucinating. I thought there was an Overlord.
You need to get that checked out.
I got to go, man. I need to see a doctor.
You're seeing fake Overlords.
I know, it's happening again. So he's not going to... Zerg won't be able to identify right away that it's a Stargate attacking build. For instance, in Game 1, YongHwa went for, 5 gates before attack?
Yeah.
So there's still a little bit of ambiguity as far as what exactly YongHwa has planned through the eyes of Su.
And that Overlord, he knows where it is. He needs to go and shut it down here with his first sentry, or at least ping it and keep it away, and he's not doing it. And this means the Overlord will actually probably see the Stargate. Oh, he turns it at the last second. So he's not going to see that. Of course, the Phoenix will show itself, but you'd like to ideally know as fast as possible.
Well, I mean, just having a few seconds lead on anything in StarCraft is such a big deal. So neither player can really attack into the other one here. We're going to have opening so far similar to what we saw on YongHwa's end on game number 2 there. Whirlwind.
Yeah. And I wonder what the follow-up plan here for YongHwa is going to be with his third base and how he transitions, because on this map you can take the third and go into multiple Stargates, try to control the game that way. Sometimes on this map, you trick your opponent thinking you're going to take a third and you do a 2 Colossus push with 2 Immortals. With the Robo timing here, we could definitely see that. It's all up to his choice. He's hunting down the Overlords now, finds them.
Phoenix is cleaning up this first Overlord. And the whole point is that the Phoenixes have to fly around the map and try to get as many Overlord kills or Ling pickups as humanly possible. And that shuts down all the intel here for Zerg early on, which takes away one of the fundamental advantages that Zerg get as a race, is that they can put their Overlords everywhere on the map and spot everything.
Yeah.
So you're taking that oh my god, 2 Forges.
He's doing it again.
Yeah.
It's pretty greedy. Not to change gears here for a second, but it's pretty greedy to go for double forges. It can kind of affect how many units you have out to hold that push like we saw last game.
Yeah, we normally see 1 Forge and then another one a little bit later on here. But right now, he's saying two base forges. So YongHwa is investing in the late game here. Also, the Colossus tech is on the way. Hydra Den here for the Zerg.
Just keep in mind when a Protoss does this, he has basically no units. He has 1 Zealot and 3 Sentries. And of course, the Phoenixes can do some damage, but they're basically Pea shooters, and so are the Sentries. So he's taking a risk here when he does this. And he's got a tight wall here. He's going to be glad for that because the Lings could have just run.
Yeah, exactly. They could have ran right up there and gotten a bunch of probe kills. Now, for Phoenixes, this is a number where we can start to do a lot of damage pretty quickly here. Let's see how solid Su's defense is.
Yeah, he's got to keep those queens with the spores this time. Last time that ended up being a bit of an issue. He ended up losing 2 queens. But this time, he can't really commit to the queens.
Well, the queens haven't really exposed themselves. Yeah. It's always best to go for these drones on the gas.
Exactly.
It's usually where the Spore Crawler is not really able to cover that. And looks like the rocks are finally going to be destroyed up here, and Protoss should have banked enough exactly to have a Nexus right after this.
Yeah, as you can see, he does have about 400
Yep, there
now.
it is.
Going to go ahead and start that. Back at home, Su finally having his 5th and 6th gases. And notice the Protoss takes the pocket base, whereas the Zerg takes the exposed one, so they can take the 4th base later more securely. There goes that Overseer.
And here, yep. Okay, so Zerg, both these guys are going for macro games. If YongHwa can prove himself as solid end game with an untouched Su, I'm going to be impressed because Su looked absolutely terrifying in that last game.
Yeah. Again, 700 resources lost for Su, not a single unit lost for YongHwa, not even a probe has gone down, so he's just keeping it very, very cost efficient here, making it even better, picking off 2 Hydralisks for free. This really forces Su to turn around for a second here. He's getting into his head as much as he can. He also sees the 4th base with these Phoenixes. The Phoenix is so invaluable in this early game.
Yeah, Phoenix is now coming out here and hitting a lot of drones. Again, just it's wonder. Oh well, maybe not if he loses it. Okay, all right, I was going to say it's wonderful play. He does this to Phoenix. To just squeeze out a little bit of damage here and do the scouting. And I love that YongHwa did not overmake Phoenixes.
And Tasteless, we are going to see
Swarm Hosts. I love casting any game with Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts is such a cool unit.
It's such a great way to control the map, especially on this map where it's so easy for a Protoss to take a 3rd base. He says, okay, I can't break your 3rd. Definitely not going to happen, but I will set up a contain and make it extremely difficult for you to take a 4th while I take the entire map slowly and steadily.
I mean, this is one of the best Swarm Host maps, absolutely. And there's not a lot that you can do since it's so easy to turtle already. So on the Protoss' end, it's pretty tricky. This is one of these situations where Protoss will get a 4th base. Zerg can secure the upper right base here if you're in Su's starting location. But a lot of this is the Zerg just trying to wear out the Protoss. They can make a ton of spine crawlers in the middle. And then if you get even late enough into the game, the Swarmos combined with Broodlord, oh my god. Did you know, Wolf, those units are free?
They're free.
Locusts and Broodlings, they do lots of damage.
Turns out there is such thing as a free lunch when it comes to those guys.
Yeah. It's really difficult. And, of course, even the Zerg... It's even stronger than, the Infested Terran, which at least it costs mana.
Yeah.
But, of course, if Protoss, you can storm that. So you just are both using mana to fight mana. But with this, it's just a nightmare.
This really is a Protoss' worst nightmare. It's just an agonizing way to try to go through the mid-game transition to late game while you get these locusts flying at you. They do so much damage. When you look at them, it looks like a puny little... just tiny little pop gun coming at you, but actually it's so strong it activates
the Locusts are so strong, man.
It activates the Immortal's Hardened Shield. It's that powerful. It does so much damage. And it's going to be tough for YongHwa to deal with this. He's going into Storm right now, but he only has 3 Colossi, soon to be 4. And that will help him for a little while, but he needs to somehow get across the map and start denying the 5th base that Su's going to take very soon. He's even going into Greater Spire before doing so. Just like you said, free units and more free units.
Yep. So Protoss is going to peel open his entrance now. He was completely airtight. And just try to secure this base down here. Now, ideally, we want to, I was going to say not even engage that because it's just free damage. But he's going to move out now.
This is
and he's going to go head on into the Swarm Host. Let's see how effective this can actually be. All right.
This is a good attack, but he needs to make sure he keeps that probe alive. He has so many gateways right now, Tasteless. He has 13 gateways, and that may be Su's unlucky number here because, I mean, he's got such a strong army. He just has to break through these Locust waves.
Zerg could have been maxed out, but the Swarm Host tech slows that down dramatically. Swarm Hosts are very costly units. Now, moving out here, he looks like YongHwa actually wants to kick in the front door. I mean, he just wants to actually attack through the Locust. I'm really surprised to see this. But YongHwa does have a pretty solid army.
Yeah, he's got so much reinforcement.
Okay, he's going to get some Archons here.
Yeah, and don't forget the 3-3 Tasteless.
Yeah, no, the 3-3, you can't count that out. And that's all because of those double forges early on.
Yeah, and he's basically doing his build from start to finish here, no matter what his opponent has chosen. And these Locusts barely able to get anything done. And if he trades against a few Zealots, that's okay.
Oh, but the Broodlords are about to finish.
He wanted to hit a timing before the Broodlords are ready with 3-3, all these gateways, common Protoss timing on this map, but he didn't make it. So he's going to have to somehow be able to navigate all these Locusts and the Spines and get into the Broodlords. I think he may have to abandon this plan and take a 4th base.
Well, he's going to try to move in now. He is getting closer to the Locusts, but the Broodlords are done.
He may actually be able to break through here. He has so many Stalkers, 29, 30 of them, and the Locusts are gone. As soon as the next wave is through, he could actually just blink underneath the Broodlords. Is he going to do it? He does!
And does he have enough? Down these Broodlords are trying to be transfused right now by the Queen. Did he? No, he did not manage to break this. Now backing up, getting some reinforcements now, and diving in yet again. Will the Stalkers actually blink on top of the Broodlords again? No, instead a blink away.
He needs a few more Stalkers before he can really commit here, but with the next few waves, he might actually be able to do it. He has 13 gateways. Don't forget, he blinks in, targeting them down. One by one, they fall. And YongHwa, even though he's taken out the Broodlords, he's lost almost all of his army
now
here.
There's no Overseer right now to shoot down that Observer, or the 2 Observers, rather.
Yeah.
So he needs to back up, but look at the supplies, Wolf. It's 109 to 177. Yeah, Zerg lost the Broodlords, but I really have to wonder if YongHwa just lost the game. I mean,
think so.
He does not have a 4th base up. It was all down to that one big attack.
He killed the Broods, and for him at that moment, he thought, like, that's it. I kill the Broods and it's over. But the Locusts that spawned right afterwards just cleared up most of the Stalkers. And now he's trying to desperately transition into Void Rays, but he doesn't have a lot of Stargates. And he doesn't have a lot of money. He doesn't have a 4th base, something that Su has been able to say he's had for a long time. And I'm wondering, actually, should he take his 5th base? Looks like he's about to. Sends a drone over, and he is taking the 5th right now as we speak.
And this Zerg army just spilling across the map. I really got to wonder if he's just going to get run over right now. More Locusts coming out here now. Fancy Blink Micro, but it's just not going to be enough, I don't think.
He's never going to take a 4th. He's long distance mining from there. That's how desperate he is. He's trying to remax just one more time. Looks like he accidentally targeted his pylon there. I don't think that was the right choice.
And yeah, I mean, there's just nothing that he can do. You can see he's trying to switch into Void Rays.
Yeah, this is like YongHwa's last stand here.
Yeah, but it's just not. I don't know if he's going to be able to cut it. And here's the problem. He's blinking on top to get rid of these Broodlords, but there's already Locusts and Roaches and everything else here.
Even Queen's coming out to transfuse. He just doesn't quite have enough. The last of the Observers is gone, which means he can't kill the Swarm Hosts anymore.
And this should be the beginning of the end here with Su now going on
just
to our winner's match. Yeah, I mean, he's actually morphing Broodlords like right outside the guy's front door.
Yeah, that's never a good sign. And with this next wave of Locusts, I think YongHwa is going to have to type GG here. And there it is.
GG, there it is. I mean, you know, I was really hoping that YongHwa would win with that attack because I'm thinking, like, can you really attack into through Locusts? Is that really going to be worth it? The answer is no.
Yeah, it turns out to be no.
No, it's not. It's not actually good at all. You shouldn't do that.
If he had attacked a different angle, perhaps, but he needed to hit faster before the Broodlords, because you can either kill all the Locusts and the Swarmos or all the Broodlords, but you can't kill both. You just can't do that. You blink out of the Broods, you get the Locusts. You blink into the Locusts, you get the Broods. I mean,
the blink-ins were good, but he's blinking like on top of Locusts and on top of Roaches. And Stalkers, you really never want your Stalkers to take any damage. That's why you have Zealots and Force Fields and all that other stuff. So, yes, he blinks on top of the Broodlords, but then these Stalkers die immediately. And there's still Locusts.
Yeah. Well, we are going to have our Super versus Sue.
Yeah. So we're going to go, Super versus Sue after this short break. Stay tuned.